Good afternoon, folks. This is Rob Chappell, Executive Editor of Madison365 with your daily update. We're back for July 19th. It is Monday, July 19th, which means that it is Metcalf's Monday. And I'm a little bit out of practice here, so you'll forgive me. It is Metcalf's Monday. Metcalf's is a family-owned market in Madison at Hilldale Mall and behind Westtown Mall, and in Wauwatosa at 68th and State. And it is grilling season. I don't know if you've noticed. I sure have. I just did some ribs last night. And Metcalf's has everything you might wish to throw on the grill. Brats and hot dogs and hamburgers and whatever else strikes your fancy, veggie burgers, Beyond Burgers, all of it, they've got it there. And you can always just go to the store and pick up what you need for your backyard cookout. Or, because we're going to talk about this whole pandemic business that's still happening, if you'd rather, you can always order for pickup or delivery at shopmetcalfs.com. And we appreciate Metcalfs and their support of Madison365 and of the Daily Update. So let's talk about that pandemic business that is still happening, that is it's making me nervous, folks. It really is. Here's some numbers to run by you. The state is not providing numbers on the weekends anymore. So we kind of have to speculate a little bit. Right now, what we're seeing on Mondays, the numbers are always low. They have been for the past several months because there's just not as much testing happening on the weekends. So today we're seeing 107 new cases reported just for today. And the 7-day average of new cases is 156 per day. Last year, this time, that would have been a very low number. However, we never want to look at one number in isolation. We want to look at trends. And that trend is going up. That's 149 yesterday. It was 138 middle of last week. So we're seeing more cases. And it's not just because of more testing either. Like there's no evidence that testing has really increased very much in the past month or so. The positive test rate, which is kind of, if you've been watching this show for a while, you know this is the key number, is the number of the percentage of tests that come back with a positive result. Okay. At the worst point last year in November, this was like 14 to 17%, which is astronomically high. Today, it is at 2.2%, which sounds okay. Because we talk a lot about 3.0 being the threshold, right? We want to stay below 3.0. So we're still below 3.0. Okay. It still indicates that we still have some level of control over this virus. However, on Friday, that was 1.8. Now that number has been going up for the last maybe 2 weeks or so. A couple of weeks ago, it was 0.7. Actually, it's up to a little more like 3 weeks. It's been going up. It was 0.7. And it's been going up to, it was like 0.8 for a couple of days. Then it was 0.9. Then it was, kind of worked its way up to, it's kind of sat at 1.3 for about a week. And then as of Friday, it was 1.8. And today it's 2.2. So it took a big jump over the weekend. Two things could cause that. Number one, just more infection. Secondly, we know there's less testing over the weekend. And we know that a priority is placed on reporting positive results. Okay? Does that make sense? So if you have lower testing and more positive results prioritized, it might kind of artificially push that number up just a tiny bit. Still, so that number might come down as we get more testing processed in the next couple of days. Fingers crossed that that's what happens. Still, anytime that number is trending upwards, I'm nervous. Now, again, it feels familiar right now because last year in June, things were pretty good. The number of active cases was going down every day. The positive test rate was going down. And July 4th and slightly after that, the numbers started to go up. And then by September, we were in full-blown crisis. I'm not terribly worried about that happening again right now because the numbers right now are much better than they were a year ago. Okay. When things were good in June of 2020, we were still at like 3.2% positive test rate, over 3, and 400 new cases a day, give or take. Okay. So we're still at a better place than we were a year ago. Because by mid-July a year ago, it was 700, 800 new cases a day, positive test rate in the 5% range. So we're better than we were a year ago, but we're worse than we were a month ago. Okay. So it doesn't seem right now like we're quite going to get to that crisis point that we got to last fall, where we were doing 7,000 new cases a day, positive test rates in the 14% range, 60 deaths every day. We're not on that trajectory yet. However, we're right now doing about 1 to 2 deaths per day from COVID. That could very easily get to 20 or 30 if we're not careful. Now, vaccinations have almost stopped in Wisconsin. We're getting about 1/10 of 1% of the population vaccinated every day. Where 51.1% have received at least one dose, 48.7% have completed the series. This is all residents, which includes kids who are not eligible to be vaccinated. Okay. What that means in practical terms is half of us being vaccinated means half of us aren't, which means 2.5 million people, well, closer to 3 million people who aren't vaccinated. That's a lot of fertile ground for a virus to spread. We know the virus can spread among vaccinated populations. However, the vaccine will keep you from dying in almost every case. We also know that the virus spreads much more quickly and much more easily and has much more severe consequences among unvaccinated populations. We also know that the Delta variant is becoming the dominant strain even here in Wisconsin. And if you catch the Delta variant, you will have 1,000 times more virus in your lungs than somebody who gets a different variant. That means it's harder on your body, but also that it's easier to spread, and it's easier for vaccinated people to spread. If I breathe in a little bit of alpha or B117 or whatever as a fully vaccinated person, it's going to stop right there. Like, it's not going to reproduce enough for me to exhale it even. Delta, I could get it. I wouldn't get very sick from it, but I'd have a much higher load. I'd have much more possibility that I could breathe it out on somebody else, even though I'm vaccinated. And Delta variant seems to be more infectious among children than Alpha. Not a lot of data on that yet. It's kind of anecdotal data right now. The other anecdotal data is that those who are being hospitalized are younger. Don't have a lot of good data on that. It's sort of anecdotal. But we're not going to close schools again. I just don't see that happening. We're not going to lock down businesses again. So I'm a little concerned that if we don't get more people vaccinated, that when schools start up again, we'll start to see it spread among children in the form of that Delta variant. And that is sort of that, very fertile environment of school. So, not to make you panic or freak out too badly, but this is the situation. This is I'm concerned. I have gone back to masking in public indoor places just because of that Delta variant, even though I'm vaccinated. There's just this enough possibility. And I had taken the mask off for a while. I'm not a alarmist by any means. But I think Delta variant is just scary enough for me. Not for me personally. Like I think if I got Delta COVID right now, I would be fine because I'm vaccinated. But I don't want to breathe it in and then breathe it back out. Right? It's a community thing. Now, if we were all vaccinated, if I was fully confident that everybody was vaccinated, which in Dane County is almost the case, but I'd feel much better about being unmasked, because if I breathe in Delta variant and I breathe it out on a bunch of vaccinated people, like nobody's really going to be harmed that much, right? So once we get all the kids vaccinated, which might be this fall, once we get a higher percentage of the statewide population vaccinated, then we can talk about taking off the masks probably. But until then, like I said, we're not going to do any more lockdowns. That's for sure. I just can't imagine anybody having the will to do that again anymore. So that is that. Sorry to be a downer, but you need to know this stuff, because it's not, it's not, I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want you to be scared of COVID. I want you to be aware that it's not done. It's not over. We got to get more people vaccinated. And we're trying to help as much as we can do that. So let's talk about some other stuff that's a little bit more fun. We can do that after, if you don't mind me taking just a 30-second break. I will be, excuse me, I'll be back on the other side of this. Give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. I need to update that spot, because we have I've been talking to you for a long time that we are a nonprofit news outlet, right? And we really firmly believe, morally, ethically, everything, that the news should be free. Like, you need to be informed, and not just people who can afford to buy a subscription to a news service. Everybody does. So we've always asked for donations, but we're actually launching a new membership program. We're kind of we're in the midst of figuring out the sort of the technical side of it, but you can go right now. You can actually join right now. It's called the FAM. You can be a member of the FAM, of our FAM, at Madison365.org/the FAM. Right now, choose your monthly, whatever's comfortable for you. And you get some stuff. You get a little bit extra, like early information, a sticker, stuff like that. So do that. So, but let's talk news. Let's talk about some other stuff here. Raising Cane's is very simple. It's chicken fingers, and it's very delicious and very good. And there's a new one in Madison. It's opened up recently on State Street, in the 500 block of State Street, and there was literally a line around the block when it opened. Aomi Wolf, our reporter, talked to the owners of this franchise and how they want to not only sell chicken fingers, which is what they do, but also kind of get involved with the community and be a real visible presence here in downtown Madison. Also today we have, yesterday we found out that Lieutenant Governor Mandela Barnes is going to make a big announcement tomorrow. Not sure what the announcement is, but we can make a reasonable guess. And the reasonable guess is that he is going to announce tomorrow that he will run for United States Senate against Ron Johnson and 7 other Democrats. There was a lot of speculation, punditry in the past year. He became kind of a national figure after Jacob Blake was shot, right? He was on CNN, MSNBC, on all the national podcasts and stuff. And as the first, Black lieutenant governor in Wisconsin, only the second Black person elected to statewide office in Wisconsin after Val Phillips. There was talk about if Tony Evers was not going to run for a second term, that Mandela might step up and run for governor. When Tony Evers announced that he would seek a second term, then the question was, would Mandela stay on as lieutenant governor, or would he run for Senate, which is like the next sort of logical step for a lot of pundits. Anytime you get a politician, first of all, completely changed his campaign website. So they took all references to lieutenant governor off of his campaign site. And he's going to make a big announcement. I mean, it seems logical, right? And the pundits have been saying this for a year. I'm not making this up. So I will be there tomorrow at noon in Milwaukee. I'll be streaming live. I hope, Wi-Fi willing, and we'll see what he has to say. There are 7 other Democrats in the race right now. Allegheny County Executive Tom Nelson, State Treasurer Sarah Godlewski, Alex Lasry, the Vice President of the Bucks, who's also going to have a pretty good day Tuesday, probably. We hope. We'll talk more about the Bucks in a second. But stay tuned. We'll have that official announcement that whatever it is he's actually announcing tomorrow, Tuesday. Also want to draw your attention to some terrific reporting from Wisconsin Watch as part of the new News Lab, which is something I've told you about, the Northeast Wisconsin News Lab that we're part of. The judge up there in Allegheny County, a judge, Vince Biskupic, who ran unsuccessfully as a Republican for state attorney general years ago, has been doing this thing where he's kind of acting as a probation agent, which is not something that has a basis in state law. And he's basically staying people's sentences, letting people out of jail, and then having these and then monitoring their lives and putting what seem to be arbitrary requirements on them, like get a better job, find a place to rent, don't drink, that kind of stuff. So he's basically a probation by the court without the use of a probation agent, which is the appropriate means. When you're somebody on supervision by the state, it's through the Department of Corrections probation office, the Division of Community Corrections. Judges aren't supposed to do that, but Vince Biskupic is, and has been for years. And this is really important reporting from Wisconsin Watch, and we're very proud that to be part of this collaboration, that we can also publish this. So take a look at Madison365.org right now. This is one of his, clients, victims. I don't know. But it's a very compelling story. I commend that to you. Have a look. It's Madison365.org right now. Turning to a little bit of sports news. These are the Milwaukee Bears. They played in 1923 in the Negro National League. And the Madison Mallards on Thursday will pay tribute to the Milwaukee Bears. They'll wear Milwaukee Bears uniforms. And even better, the Urban League of Greater Madison, one of the leading organizations for Madison's Black community, will be hosting a vaccine clinic right before the game. This was actually scheduled for a week ago, and it kind of got rained out. Like, they still had the game, but they couldn't have any additional stuff around the game because they just had to get the game in quick between rain showers. So they postponed this to July 22nd. It's coming up this Thursday. If you go there between 5 and 7, you can get a vaccine and a free ticket to the game. Why not? Just do it. Just do that. And enjoy the tribute to the Milwaukee Bears, which is a fantastic story. I love the story of the Milwaukee Bears. But check that out. It's again Madison365.org with all the details. For Madison over the weekend, coming off a horrendous loss, 4-1 thumping from North Texas Soccer Club, the worst defeat in club history, go to Omaha to play the league leaders, the best team in the league. Omaha has only one loss this season. Madison is the only team that's beaten them. Madison gives up a goal early and comes back to tie it and brings home a draw, brings home a point, and now sits 7th in the table, just out of the playoff spot. And if you look at it for points per game rather than just the total number of points, they're actually in 4th. So they're in a good spot there. Next up, they have a friendly on Tuesday night against Atletico Morelia from Mexico. And it's Tuesday night. And after that, you can stay at Breese Stevens Field and watch the Bucks win their first NBA championship since 1971. If you are a Wisconsin person, probably any Wisconsin person is aware at this point that the Bucks won Game 5, sealed by this alley-oop dunk pictured here. With 13 seconds to go in the game, sealed the victory, and it was the first away team to win in the finals so far. And bringing now, if they win Tuesday night at Fiserv Forum, They will be NBA champions for the first time since Kareem Abdul-Jabbar led them to that title in 1971. If you want to go, it's at 8 o'clock tip, which is later than usual here. The city of Milwaukee and the Milwaukee Bucks have expanded the Deer District, which is the outdoor viewing area, to accommodate 65,000 people. There's going to be probably about 20,000 people in the arena, right? Standing room tickets are going for $1,100 right now. And it will be full. And there will be 65,000 people outside. And Forward Madison, as I mentioned, has a friendly that night at 7 o'clock. And immediately following that match, they're going to turn on the big jumbo screen that they have. And anybody who's there can either stay in their seats and watch it or go onto the field and watch the Bucks. And anybody who's just in the neighborhood wants to come by, they're not going to charge you. If you come in after 9, after probably about like 8:45 or so, just come into Bridge Stevens Field. You can watch the Bucks with all the Forward Madison fans. And that would be really fun. Again, if they win, if they lose, they can still win Game 7, which would be later. I want to say Saturday. I might be wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. But I think they should just go ahead and win on Tuesday and be done with it and win the first NBA championship in my lifetime, which is fantastic. And that is what I have for you today. Again, join the fam if you support what we do. If you have a few dollars, if you're the kind of person who could subscribe to Madison365 for all the news that we bring you that nobody else does to support this show, then why don't you do that for other folks who can't? $5 a month, $10 a month, $25 a month, whatever you can do. And you get a little bit extra love. You get an extra newsletter. You get like early announcements of certain things, events, influential lists, that kind of stuff. So again, Madison365.org/thefam. It's very easy to do. A couple of clicks and you're done. All right. Have a wonderful evening. I will be back tomorrow right around 4 o'clock, 4:30, somewhere in there. And until then, have a wonderful evening, and we will see you very soon.
This is 365 Media.